right now we're going across to our reporter Julia Bradley, who is with the crowds at the front of the Sydney Opera House. They are waiting to catch a glimpse of the King and Queen. Julia, the mood there must be one of such excitement.
It's an electric mood, Ash, and I've had an official member of the team here, the New South Wales government, tell me that the crowd is more than 6,000 strong. So that paints a picture of how much love there is for their majesties as they arrive here at Sydney Opera House. A lot of people turning out for this opportunity. This is the one big event of this tour for people here in Sydney to have that opportunity to see the royal couple and perhaps even meet them. We'll wait to see just how many people they're able to interact with. But if the last event, that barbecue at Western Sydney, is anything to go by, King Charles, Queen Camilla, incredibly fond of stopping and having a chat to these people who've turned up today. We really saw over the last few days a real effort from King Charles and Queen Camilla to interact with the Australian public. We know that the King has been here 17 times, 15 in an official capacity, and that love for Australia has really carried throughout the years. He went to boarding school in Victoria as a 17-year-old and now back as sovereign. So we are expecting, as you said before, for them to have their official photographs taken. A big cheer from the crowd here as we see the royals walk over to have their photos taken. Queen Camilla, an outfit change for her. She was in a beautiful blue at that community barbecue, now in this stunning white as she walks alongside King Charles past the sails of the Sydney Opera House. Continuous big cheers from the public as you see the King and Queen walk past. As you can see, they're being escorted by New South Wales Premier Chris Minns, also meeting with many artists, we're told. And later on, we will see them walk down the steps here at Sydney Opera House. A lot of activity then planned, that meet and greet with the public. We'll then see a performance with about 100 students, I'm told. And of course, that fleet review and also a defence flyover a little bit later. Absolutely beautiful day in Sydney, down here, overlooking the Harbour Bridge. Everywhere you look, people holding up their phones, wanting to get a photo or a video of this historic moment. A lot of people waiting here from quite early in the afternoon. Been speaking with some people here from 1 o'clock, from 2 o'clock, wanting to just get that perfect spot so that they really maximise their chance, possibly being able to shake the hands of their majesties, to say a few words to them, or perhaps give them a gift.
Sydney really turning it on there for King Charles and Queen Camilla as they pose for photographs in front of the Sydney Harbour Bridge. Let's just listen in and get a bit of a sense of how things are going down there. It's a huge media event, as you can see there, and the photographers and journalists are all there to report on this historic tour by King Charles and his wife, Queen Camilla, to Sydney. We've seen thousands and thousands of people, as Julia said there, some 6,000 people turning out there today. Matt Stratton, let's bring you in again. I don't know how young you are, but you look pretty young to me. Have we seen young people taking a renewed look at the royal family? Do you expect that there is a bit of enthusiasm out there as we see this tour underway?
Thank you. I'm only 22, so it's a really unique time to be able to see something like this. When I was here yesterday outside of Parliament House, I saw as many school kids and young people like myself as I did anyone else. It's been an absolute pleasure to see it. The narrative that we hear so often that young people don't care for their majesties, that they aren't interested in the monarchy, that they're convinced by republicanism, is simply not true. The Australian people of all ages get around this incredible institution. We've seen it today that not just anyone would line up for hours on end in the sun to see the glimpses of the King and Queen It's absolutely fantastic.
There are some, of course, who would like to see Australia become a republic. What do you think the chances of that are, Matt, in the coming years? We know that momentum was lost somewhat after the defeat of the Voice referendum. It doesn't seem like anything that there's political will for at the moment.
I don't think it's going to happen in my lifetime, and I hope that's quite a long time. I think what we saw yesterday was all we needed to see from the Republican movement. What we saw yesterday was His Majesty the King, the rest of Parliament there at the official reception of His Majesty the King at Parliament. They all behaved, and we saw a Republican who really, really wanted to change the focus from our king, our country, and to herself, and that's really the problem we have. If we want to change our system that's worked for 120 years and change to a system we don't even know that the Republicans themselves agree on, I don't think there's any chance that we're going to see a change anytime soon. The system works. There's absolutely no reason to change. And as you said, with the recent defeat of the Voice referendum, I think it's really tamed the Albanese government. They'll have no ambition for a second referendum. I think the monarchy will survive for quite a while longer, thankfully.
I was just listening there, some very excited Aussies there shaking hands with Queen Camilla, plenty of shrieks of excitement as they've been waiting for such a long time. You can see a real entourage around Queen Camilla as well, taking bunches of flowers and other gifts that the Queen and King are receiving there from these Aussies who are in their thousands there at the Sydney Opera House. We have seen small protests in recent days as the King and Queen have continued on this world tour, but the one that Matt mentioned there by the Independent Senator Lydia Thorpe yesterday has certainly been the biggest protest that will really saw headlines here in Australia and of course right around the world as well. We did speak with Adam Spencer from the Australian Republican movement a little while ago, and he was certainly distancing the ARM from Lydia Thorpe's choice of protest there at Parliament House. We might just have a few listen in to some of the comments from Adam Spencer earlier.
Well, he might want to distance himself, but he's simply not going to be able to. This is what the Republican movement wants, that the problems with our political institutions is not the King and Queen, it's the politicians themselves. And as you were saying earlier, with regards to the want of change, currently the issue of the monarchy is not even a top 20 concern of Australians. The biggest issues for Australians are absolutely the cost of living crisis. For someone like myself, that's whether I can go out and get a beer with some friends on the weekend. It's increasingly, can I pay the mortgage, which is increasingly troublesome for so many people. It's the really basic stuff that we're falling behind on. It's not whether we need another $500 million referendum. I think the Australian people are quite confident with our system. There's absolutely no desire. And as we've seen with so few examples, with so few people, no one really has the need, the urge, the want or desire to protest against this system. It's really been the showcase of Australia at its finest, I think.
I might just listen in to the crowd here as we see some small children there in the crowd as well, meeting with King Charles. Everybody's very keen, of course, to say good day, have a quick chat before he moves on to the next person. A gift there being handed over as well by one woman to King Charles in the crowd there. We've seen New South Wales Premier Chris Minns in those pictures too. He and his wife Anna have been hosting King Charles and Queen Camilla today as they've been making their way around Sydney. Let's listen in.
Cameras. Coming here he is now, actually. Your biggest supporter. Camilla Hello, King Charles. I am back. When she was to go with him. I'm back! Hi, King Charles. I'm back!
Nick, do you want TV with the Queen down here?
So you can see there thousands of people there at the Sydney Opera House just desperate to either shake the hand of or say hello to King Charles and Queen Camilla. Look at that shot of the Sydney Opera House and the Sydney Harbour Bridge. The weather absolutely stunning there for King Charles and Queen Camilla as they make their way around Sydney. They've had their photographs with the Sydney Harbour Bridge behind them, and this is really the opportunity to meet with some local Aussies and have a quick chat. The person behind Queen Camilla there has a very busy job taking plenty of bouquets of flowers that Australians have brought along to give to Queen Camilla as they welcome her and the King to Sydney.
Can you see her? Okay, Mum, you need some. Hello. Just so they can get the colours. Oh, thank you so much. I don't think it's